Makes you think that I'm an answer if you ain't mine. Even if you call.
You guys are liking the video on Rumble, on YouTube. What? Okay. All right, so as I told y'all in the beginning, Andrew Tate is free. Well, he's on house arrest, but the assumption here is that he will be free at some point. And he just recently did an interview with the BBC, and there's a lot of quotes coming out of this thing, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You gotta watch the whole thing. What you'll find is that the BBC put out a 12-minute video of this interview. But over on Rumble, Andrew Tate himself has the entire interview. No cuts, no narrative. But we're not gonna listen to the entire interview, right? We're gonna play a couple of clips that's on Twitter.
I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
Do you really believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled person on the planet.
Do you believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
I think we're done.
And she rage quit. Hold on. Let me see.
Thanks. Attack a teacher, male or female, ever. I have never, ever encouraged a student to attack a teacher, male or female, ever. I preach hard work, discipline. I'm an athlete. I preach anti-drug. I preach religion. I preach no alcohol. I preach no knife crime. Every single problem with modern society, I'm against.
But
I'm teaching young men to be disciplined, to be diligent, to listen, to train, to work hard, to be exactly like me. And I'm saying that if men grew up like me, which are hardworking and diligent and some emotional control and stoic, we're going to have a better society, not a worse society. To sit here and say that schools in England, which is a failing nation, which has knife crime going through the roof, violence going through the roof, men's mental health going through the roof, and they're going to all blame me because I appeared on the internet 1 year ago.
You sell an image of success.
Disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
You
and
sell
also,
an image of financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having
Misogyny. That's all they're concerned about. Listen, we'll see what happens with it, but they have no evidence. Think about it. Imagine being held in prison for what was it? 4 months with no charges. None. Now if they got proof that he committed a crime, then he should absolutely go to prison. But I have not seen any charges. I've only seen accusations. Am I tripping? Chat, am I tripping? A person, so now you're writing articles claiming that, because you gotta watch the full interview. It's on Rumble. Go to Tate speech. You'll get the full context of everything that happened there. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, they got the Andrew Tate has been interviewed by the BBC while under house arrest, with all of the out of context videos being pushed out at the moment. I deem it only fair to post the full interview. So I guess here you go, right here. Here's the full interview, 38 minutes. Obviously, we're not going to watch that, but
The material is going to be published on television, on radio, online.
I really got to get some new headphones. I'm struggling, y'all.
We are doing an interview with you.
Now, I will admit,
very serious.
there were some valid, in my opinion, there were some valid questions that she asked. She asked him a question about what did she say? She asked him the question about, I think it was the the owning of property, like a woman being his property. Oh, no. The question was about him saying he gets women to fall in love with him and then he manipulates them into working in the sex industry. I don't know if he actually said that. If he said that, that's obviously not something that I would condone. I don't think I would hope that he doesn't condone that. But um uh, he also put more context to the statement where he said about a woman being his property. But again, I encourage you to watch the entire interview. Guys, the reason why Andrew Tate is so important is because this man is a billionaire. If they can take lies and destroy this man's life and career and silence him, what does that say about the rest of us? If he's committed no crimes, what does it say about the world where a billionaire can have his life ruined and being silenced and having places like the BBC write these false narratives and false articles and hit pieces on them? What does that say about the rest of us? Shout out to Shinobi319 in the chat. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you for stopping by. What does that say about freedom and liberty and your rights as a human being? I reiterate, they held him for 4 months, no charges. We have still yet to hear anything about any charges. What I'm hearing through the grapevine is they have nothing. They have nothing. And so, once again, I'm going to say I encourage everyone to watch the entire interview because that's the only way you're going to get the proper context, because the BBC posted on their YouTube page a 12-minute interview, but yet there's 38 minutes of content there. Almost 40 minutes of content, and they only post 12 minutes of it. That tells you right there. I don't understand that. If I give you a 40-minute interview and I'm only seeing 12 minutes of it posted on, like, what do we gain from that? To create narratives. And let's go into, let me pull this up. Let me show you. This is the BBC on YouTube. This is the Andrew Tate BBC interview. Look at the likes to dislikes ratio. 16,000 likes, 133,000 dislikes. Holy. The fact that the media thrives on negativity is sickening. The fact that Andrew was so strong at the interview that the BBC wasn't even able to make him look bad after cutting out most of the interview. We stand with Andrew Tate. Good thing he published the full interview uncut. They tried their best to make him seem like he was evading questions. He answered each one at length and in depth. Here's part of the narrative they were trying to push. They were trying to make it seem as if he was avoiding certain questions. He made it very clear in that interview that some of the questions that they were asking, he could not answer due to an open investigation. But they tried to make it seem like he was avoiding the question. I mean, obviously he was avoiding the question, but they was trying to, they was trying to paint it a certain way. This reporter was allowed into his house after months of begging to be let in, and not only did he treat her well and with respect, in the end, he even thanked her for coming and told her he enjoyed the conversation as a gentleman and attempted to shake her hand, and she brushed his hand away and left without saying goodbye. This is the legacy media, ladies and gentlemen. The people speak. This is what democracy is supposed to be. The people elect the officials, not the goddamn media. If the overwhelming majority says we want Tate and not the BBC, how is it the BBC's job to report malicious lies and bad narratives to paint him in a certain way, to make it seem like he's a villain? The England or the UK has painted Andrew Tate to be a villain, and they're trying to educate children on Andrew Tate and all of this stuff. Man, get this shit the hell out of here. Unless you gonna get rid of the internet, they're gonna find it. And the people will decide what makes sense to them. Men are tired. And they're finally finding purpose in not just Andrew Tate, but many other people like Kevin Samuels, Myron Gaines, Whoop-de-whoop. Shout out to CH2 Action News. It all starts with propaganda pushed by local librarians. These book pushers have every narrative. I agree with that. Reed says they have a video of girls laughing and setting it up. I heard about that too. It's crazy. So this is why it's imperative that people like you and I and everybody out in the comments on Rumble, on Twitter, have your own mind. This is why Elon owning Twitter is so important, because when it comes to normies, people who are not plugged in with this type of content and the culture war and all of this BS, it's important for neutral people to provide you information and let you decide where you stand. I have no problem with a man or a woman who say, I don't like Andrew Tate, but you have to be able to articulate why and make sense. You cannot tell me, you cannot come up to me and tell me, then say, Andrew Tate belongs behind bars because he said a woman is his property. First of all, that is not a crime to say that. Secondly, do you understand the context around why he said what he said? Or did you just see a clip? I just saw a clip, but the fact is he said it. So you didn't see the few minutes before that where the woman that he was talking to on the podcast said that my boyfriend's money and his car is my property. And then he said jokingly in response to that, well, my girlfriend, her body is my property, in a jokingly in a joking manner. And he also agreed in that interview, once again, I encourage y'all to go and watch the entire interview, that when he was saying a lot of those things that they consider to be outlandish, he had a smaller platform, and that he says now, with being the most Google man on earth, he would be a little bit more careful of how he said things because of you know, how they can be clipped and perceived. So, and that's that. And I agree with that. When you're the most Google man on earth, you know, some of the wild things you say, you know, can be clipped and flipped. So it is what it is. So that's the Andrew Tate interview.
Let's go. Hey. Beat that thing down like you started attention, my baby. You had some plans with your man, just tell him to